Welcome. You are with the Skeinz Diaries. I am Maree. It is the 1st of May. Whoa, where's that gone? Episode 246. And yeah, sorry, I'm late. Technical difficulties. I was here bang on time and it wouldn't let me sign in. The joys. I know. And then you have to, and you know, when you have things that remember your passwords and then you think, oh, what is that password? Yeah, that was me this morning. But I'm here now. Got there eventually. Got my coffee. Need my coffee. How is everybody this morning? It's full on. 1st of May, of course. So for those who don't know, 1st of May is can registration day. I have no idea how it's going because literally I was in my Monday morning meeting at the mill when it opened and I'm sitting there praying going, I so hope that this has all been set up properly because if it has, I won't get phone calls and people going, "Rah!" And so fingers crossed, so far so good. I haven't even should we check? Should we check? I haven't even checked. It's a thing, and it's exciting though. It is really exciting, and judging by how much my phone's been buzzing away, I'm assuming that things are going okay. So hold on, I'll have a quick look, shall we? Oh wow! Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Yeah, it's going super great. I am so excited. Super, super great. Oh, wow. Gosh, the masterclass is half sold out already. Oh, wow. Wow. Finished like a pro, totally sold. Wow. Wow. Okay. There's still plenty of great classes available. Let's do this. Should we do this first, eh? We'll do this first. So, the first thing I'll let you know is if you want to trade at Can this year, I haven't actually done formal invitations. I'm a bit slack actually. Like in previous years, I've done formal invitations. Everyone who traded last year got an early bird link because they were there last year, but I've not done the big invitation thing this year. So if you want to come and trade at Can, sign up. Come trade. That's how I've decided to do it this year. Anyone can, if you want to come and trade. So there is still both full weekend or Sunday trading tickets available. So you can come do that. Numbers are very, very limited. I'm only doing full weekend trading in the big room, and then I've got a little bit more space on the weekend. But the good news is if you're a trader with that smaller number, you do really well. So that's awesome. I've got a new game show, and there are still just over but not quite half of those have sold. As I said, the masterclass is half full, so there is still space there. Pocket Queen, which is the new one, there's space there. Wheel spinning, there's space there. But Finish Like a Pro is sold out. Mending has one space left. Oh my gosh. Neck and Shoulders has 6 tickets, so there's still some there. And also knitting. Oh, knitting. This is great. Shaping Your Knits is sold out. Oh, this is really cool, actually. Oh, wow, this is so exciting. Latvian Braid is sold out, but Harry Flash Crochet is almost sold out, so you need to hurry with that. And Christmas Gnomes has only got one left, and you have no idea how excited about that I am. Christmas Gnomes, I'm so excited. Oh, this is awesome. So there is still some really, really, really good space left, which is neat, because this early on, it's just a bit hard, a bit heart-wrenching if everything sells out so quickly and people miss out. So if you've got people that have been sitting on the fence, you are able still to come to Can, and there is some wonderful classes left. So thank you for letting me do that, guys. I do appreciate that. Thank you, Kathy. Yes, it's knitaugustnights.co.nz, but I haven't had a chance to put the link for the registration on there yet because literally I'll tell you why in a second why I didn't get a chance to do that. I've been running around like a blue ass fly and I have to do that live. So as soon as I've done here, I will be doing that. It is though in your newsletter. If you're on you get the newsletter. It's on or Facebook. If you have a look at Facebook, it is there, both in the Can group and on the Can Facebook page. To get the link to go there. The reason why I didn't get it this morning is I got to work this morning and I was going to do it to get it all up and going. Is I got a phone call. I had a phone call this morning with Nathan, sock magician. We were on the phone for like an hour and a half. So that's why first thing this morning. So we had huge catch up. It had been so long since we'd caught up with each other. It's been not quite a year, but it's been far too long. So we had a proper gas bag. And I'd had a huge gas bag with a sister 2 weeks previous, because her and I stay in touch too. And he says hello and huge loves from Nathan. And I will be popping out some information from him. It was good. We caught up on lots of stuff because the book is out. His magnum opus is out and it's available. So we talked about that. And I'm going to do a proper posting and a mail out about that probably on Thursday. So I'm really excited about that. It was so good to talk to him and catch up. And he's doing so well. And he sends all his love to everyone, all the Skeinz and Can people. He's doing great. And it really does warm the cockles of my heart. It was wonderful. So wonderful to chat to him. The book's doing great, and I've got more about that, as I said, Thursday. We'll talk about that Thursday. So that was good. So huge big chat to him. And then, of course, this month, it's the first of the month, and I haven't even had a chance to do our draw for I can't even remember what it was. It's gone. For last month, In the Loop. So I'm going to draw that this morning and I will let the winner know. But I can let you guys know that the new theme for this month is Knithathon. And the reason it's Knithathon is we thought it would be a great month now that the weather has turned. And morning, Barbara. I hope it's wet in Whakatane. I hear the top half of the country is hideous. It is, whereas here at least it's just grey, but I think that's not going to last. So Knitathon is essentially, we just want you guys knitting. It's knitting or crocheting or stitching, or it's important to get knitting. I think this is the time that we need to do this to make ourselves happy. And if we've been getting steady donations actually from everyone for flood relief and to get out to those families. And a number of you, I see Ricky Crump, another bag came in. Deline had sent some more stuff in at the end of last week. And we've got a system now set up for distribution, which is awesome. So here's the one thing I can let you know, and Dell's been doing a lot of this too, but school age is, so we've got lots of stuff, baby, so anything preschool backwards we're getting good amounts through. And if that's your jam and that's what you like to knit, don't change on our behalf. Do keep doing it. If you're thinking you want to cast something on and do something, anything that's now school age and beyond, including adult garments. So even things like for adults, simple things like vests, actually adult vests, which are not too yarn hungry and are relatively straightforward to do. Those sorts of things actually from our perspective will be really useful, because of course a lot of these people are affected are families, so it's not just everyone's lost stuff, so including mum and dad. So if you've got you're wanting to knit something and you are quite happy to knit something a wee bit bigger, just one item across the entire month, that would be incredible. Feel free, if you do not have someone in your sphere that you can donate that to, do send it up to us and we will get that distributed. So we've already started distributing things out directly to families. We've got some key people and key groups which have been great. A lot of these families, as you can imagine, they don't want to come in and ask for charity. They're just trying to get on, but we've got some really incredible support who have been helping us get these things direct to family. We've been doing a lot of distribution actually with the Pakawhai families. We've got some work with another team via a couple of the schools that we're getting stuff out and through. So that's now starting. So as things are coming in, we're bundling stuff up and getting things dropped off. Those slippers are another good one. Actually, they're quite good because we can distribute them to schools as well, which is a great one there. But really anything, whatever floats your boat. We just want to get you guys stitching this month in May to all have a big knit-a-thon month together. So that's the plan. Nice easy one, this month. Speaking of knitting, says she who lives in her glass house and has literally hardly done zero knitting in the last little bit because I've been so busy. So I'm leaning down to get it. I finally said yesterday to my husband, I said, he's studying full time now. So it's quite good because he sort of got off going to do stuff like that. So it does mean that I can get some time. So I said to him, he said, "Oh, what plans have you got for Sunday?" And I was taking my son and some of his friends to the Hawks basketball game late yesterday afternoon. But other than that, I said to him, knitting. I want to do some knitting. I desperately need to get this jumper of my brother's finished because I've done nothing since I spoke to you last. Like literally, I thought to myself, I cannot go another diaries and not show them any progress because there hasn't been. And I've not even been distracted with other projects. I desperately want to knit myself a pair of zippers, but I'm like, no, I've got to get this finished. I've been super monogamous. So we did it. So I'm just going to show you. For those who are wondering what I'm knitting, I got given this cone. Who are just catching up. I got given this cone for Christmas, and it is it's Cape Palliser Station yarn from the Wairarapa, and it was done at Wool Yarn, so it's maybe Skeinz yarn. I know, but it's a Christmas present from my brother and his wife. I mean, they know me. I so well. And it's lovely and sheepy. So it's a woolen spun, as you can see, natural lamb's wool, DK. So I wanted to knit my brother something because I suddenly thought, I've not knit this brother. I've never, well, not for a super long time. So, when I say super long time, like he's 49, and it's not since we were kids, a super long time. Since mate, no, I think I might have done in the hat about 20 years ago. So it's been a while. So then, of course, Maree being Maree doesn't pick a design. She decides that she's going to do something from the noggin. So I'm just doing him a very, very plain jumper. So what I did in terms of sizing, and I actually bought this in because it was sitting by the chair and it's covered in dog fluff. But this is what I'm basing it on. See this sort of jumper here? So this is a commercial jumper. It's one that I bought years ago and it's beautiful actually. It's Italian cashmere. I picked it up in a op shop of all places. It's absolutely stunning, and I bought it thinking that it might fit my husband, and it didn't. But it was too beautiful to part with, and now that I've got big teenage sons, it fits one of the boys perfectly. Well, actually, it's a weeny bit big, but I bought it, so I've kept it. When my brother has been to stay, and he came to stay actually the last time, and he didn't have anything warm with him, and it got cold, and I pulled this out, and it fit him like a glove. It was such a perfect fit. So I knew I had a garment that was perfect fitting, so I didn't get his measurements. So I've been basing it off the measurements off this, which I know you out there will all be going, really, Maree? That's kind of weird. But you know what? When you've got your gauge and you've done your swatch, you can do anything. So that's a little trick. So I've done all my measurements based off that. So there is the body. And all I've done is just a plain little body, but I've gone and put this nice, when this blocks out, it'll look incredible because this being woolen spun, this stuff blocks beautifully. I've done just this little twisted rib detail down the side, right? It's very plain through that. Oh, what am I doing? Through the body. And of course, me being me, I started bottom up. Why? I don't know. Well, I do know. I started bottom up because I hadn't decided how I was going to do the sleeves. So I've oscillated between raglan to set-in. I've now decided on saddle shoulder. So first sleeve has been knitted to length. So this is now basically from armpit to wrist, and the length is ideal. Well, it's perfect on me. It's perfect. It's the same length there, so I'm picking it's going to be bang on. And what I've done with the sleeve to make it a little bit different is I've done the sleeve in reverse stocking stitch to allow, look at those racing stripes, allow that twisted rib detail to really pop. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go up. I haven't quite just, I'm probably going to do it seamlessly, I think, right up until the saddle shoulder, and then the actual saddle I'll stitch at the end. I think that's where I'm at right now. So the saddle shoulder obviously is going to go up like this, and then I just need to do a tiny little bit of shaping at the bottom when I connect this to the body of the garment. And then, of course, it's straight up thread. until I get to the saddle, and then just a little bit of shaping at the top and then once I get that little bit of shaping at the top, which I may actually do with the shoulders with short rows, which is why I quite like doing it this way. I'll probably go up to a point, then disconnect the sleeve, put this portion here onto a holder on awesome waste yarn, and then do a series of short rows to shape my shoulder on one side and then obviously on the other, because of course I'll have a little crew neck to do as well in there, and then complete knitting the part for the saddle, and then roll that because I'll obviously have short rows at the back as well. That's the plan. That's the plan. I've got it all mapped out in here, that I think that's how it's going to work. So when I did this one, I got my nice little needle out, the one that I love, that I do my sleeves on, and I've actually done quite a thinnish profile sleeve because I just think that will look nicer on this jumper instead of something big and baggy. I wanted something a little. It is not a super slim fit sleeve, but it is certainly. I suppose if I put my big gigantic arm in there, it will be. But it's what I would call neutral eased sleeve. Up until about here on the sleeve, it was pretty tight going, and I did end up kind of doing a Hody magic loop, and it wasn't really done things. So it was a bit of a mush, if I'm brutally honest. So I thought to myself, okay, I think I mentioned to you guys I might need to DPN. And then I couldn't find the DPNs I wanted. So then I suddenly remembered there's another technique other than DPNs and magic loop that you can do on small circumference. And I keep forgetting about it because I've got a book in there that describes it. And that is this technique where you actually knit on 2 sets of needles. And this is actually a sock technique that's out there where there's a book called Knitting Socks on 2 Needles, and you actually can do both sets of socks at the same time on 2 circular needles set up in parallel like this. And because there is nothing other than the ribbing detail on this side, and then there's my mark. There it is. There's my marker there on that side, which has got my increasing. Doing this on 2 needles is an absolute doddle, easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that's how I'm doing it. So it's this is honestly less of a faff than I think the knitting magic loop. And then once I get to sort of probably about it was about that far up, I could comfortably get that small circumference again. That's my small circumference needle there, as you can see, a nice little short tip. I'll change this guy out, which is currently, that cable is currently sitting actually there, holding those stitches on with that's how Addie do their cable extenders, their locking doofer. So I'll switch that out and then go to a single needle. Oh, is this how you knit your socks, Margaret? Yeah, it's good, right? And as you may have noticed too, I did this. I was going to sew this up, and then I thought, no, I'm going to show this to you. I didn't do this in the round. And you may think, well, Maree, why didn't you do that in the round? Well, because it's such a tight circumference and it's a bit of a pain. I just found it easier to work it flat. But I have put a couple of salvage stitches in there, so I can just do that into a mattress stitch, and it will completely melt away and disappear like it has when I find it on that one. See? Can you see it? It's gone. It's actually in there. So it can completely, and as you can see, that's where I started working in the round there. So that's the plan. So that's where I'm at. So I actually got... and it's a bit of, by the time, and then I forgot the maths, and then I had to go back and count the stitches on the sleeve because I didn't write it down. I know, it's how Maree rolls, but there you go, yay! So I got a few out there. I know that it's only a couple of hours worth, and you're looking at that thinking, wow, Maree, is that it? But I did do others, like there was housework in between, and it was a pick up and pick down jobby. But now that you know what it's like, knitting a new part of a project is a bit like starting a new book. Once you get the first chapter or 2 under your belt, you're away laughing. That's what that is. So there is progress, people. I'm quite excited about that. getting some progress done. So I'm kind of hoping that I can, and once I get that leveled, then once I join everything back together and go up through that main part of the body, I know it's going to progress pretty quickly. And then I'm going to get to this portion. And the nice thing about that, actually, and this because this neckline's probably quite good to show you. And you can it's slightly set in this one. So I'll connect in here. I'll only do a marginal bit of shaping under here, and then I'm literally going to go straight up. But when I get to see where the bottom of this crew neck is here, that will be at about the point that I need to start thinking about some shaping with the saddle shoulder. So I'll probably go up and then divide, because I've got the crew neck here. So then I'll probably go across and start working on one side, backwards and forwards, just keeping going to about this point here. And then that's when some short rows will need to go in before the saddle shoulder pops in up the top. So the nice thing about going straight up until this point about here, which it'll be just below that, and there'll be I'll put some subtle shaping in here, some subtle shaping in here. Yeah, we'll be away. It'll be good. That's the plan. Kathy, those Eddie Crazy Trio needles are the same principle. Yeah, 2 to 3 tiny circulars. Exactly. Yeah. Actually, I have thought about those, but I've got this thing about knitting socks. I don't do it. Refuse. Well, no, I don't do it. It's not like, I refuse. Yeah, I don't do it. I haven't knitted a pair of socks for years. I'll do double knitting socks quickly, but no, I haven't knitted a pair of socks for years. However, actually, speaking of, if in the Knithathon, if you want to do socks, actually, we won't say no to socks. Socks is a good thing. Particularly I'm going to dig out, I had this old double knitting pair of double knitting sock pattern that you used to do on 2 needles, and then you would mattress stitch up the back seam. And before you go, why would you do that, Maree? Because then you're standing and walking on a seam. Because you're knitting it in double knitting, I used to do these socks in Southland or Perrindale. So they're really like almost like a slipper sock, because they sort of tended to felt at the bottom, and lots of them here they're brilliant for work boots. And in fact, I knitted those socks. I did a pair. Did some Southlander ones, and I did them on 2 needle for Damien years ago, and he wore them in his work boots, and they felted all up. It means that you have to hand wash them, but I did them heaps for my husband too. He loved them for his big boots. They sort of been like sloughing around the house in. They were great. Yes, I know socks don't bite, Margaret. I just don't like knitting them. I know, crazy, hey? Because there's all that beautiful sock yarn, but I've knit them, and then I've got to the end of them, and we're going, yeah, I'm so glad that's over. Funny, hey? Oh, it's just me. It's not a thing. What other news do I have for you guys? Oh, double time. I know, that's all happened like Friday. Ugh, and I forgot the pattern. It's sitting on my desk. Double time. Oh my gosh, amazing. So you would have gotten make sure you dig out your newsletter, because in your newsletter is an offer. Okay, so you have to have the newsletter. You have to have the code. We can't apply the code retrospectively. It's Kathy, yes, Southlander does knit up like Norse wear socks. In fact, exactly like Norse wear socks. Yes, you can't apply it retrospectively. So you do need to make sure that you get hold of that offer, and that is for Flight and for Pulse. Pulse, Quake and Dragonfly were the 2 that Libby did her sample in. But I've had a number of people ask me about the cream sample, which is done if you can get hold of the yarn from the fabulous Lynn at Fibre to Go. She has done that beautiful hand-dyed yarn in between, so do check that out with her. If you and Orb, and then use Orb Moon is for the cream, so if you wanted the 2. However, if you wanted to go and do it with Flight and Pulse, you can use Dove for the cream, and then Flutter is the closest that we have for in between, if you wanted to do that. When the offer ends at the end of this month. So we've given yourselves a good amount of time. The other yarn, actually, that many of you may already have in stash, so you don't need to buy anything, that will be perfect for that double time, and I kind of alluded to it at the time without trying to let the cat get out of the bag, was the prints that we did for the flood relief in Southlander, those Southlander mail prints. If you've got any of those, marry those up with your favourite Southlander or Truly Myrtle by Southlander. There are so many fantastic combinations there that will be perfect for double time. I think that would look incredible. So do actually, because you've probably already got those sitting around in stash, and you would only need, generally, depending on the size, 3 to 4 balls of the print and then 4 to 5 balls of the solid. It's a 60-40 ratio, essentially, between main colour and contrast colour. In the Flight Naturals also, Kathy, yes, exactly, would make a lovely version as well. So you could just do, so I would be doing Kiwi Wicker on that one. So whether you do the Wicker as, oh, there's that light again, do the Wicker as the dark colour as your main with lighter stripes, or reverse that out, that would be brilliant. I'm going to do another double time newsletter today and put together a whole bunch of colour combinations for you to see what they look like. Margaret's asking about disco. That's a great question, Margaret. I'm inclined to think, personally, I think Tui, which is that sort of really rich teal, is a neat one for disco. If you've got any Monarch in stash, which has now been discontinued, that rich, deep sort of terracotta orange, that actually would have worked quite well if you're going flight. But you could still do disco and then actually jump over to, say, something like Albertine. I know it's not got the special on it, but the Albertine and the spiced pumpkin, I think, would look great. Or even, actually, if you've picked up in the sale the Vintage Broad DK, navy would look incredible with disco. I think navy would look really good. Or actually any dark charcoal, the wren, actually, the wren in flight with disco, because you want those colours in the disco to pop. What else would work? Or you could be completely radical, Margaret, and you could do something like mantis. That would be radical, totally radical. But that would work. The mantis would be fun. Yeah, disco and orb sprout. Yeah, so Sue's on the same sort of wavelength that I am. Yeah, would work too. So yeah, there's lots of really fun options there. And Sockmatician too would work really well with that pattern. So I think De Lavery is just the super dark charcoal grey. The De Lavery or the milk make fantastic base colours, and then whatever you want to do in between would look just fabo. And if you've got loads of Sockmatician, or back in the day, if you bought one of those Sockmatician samplers, and I know people out there have probably still got that box sampler somewhere, and you've got a box of the 6 original rainbow colours, imagine a double time in a subtle striped rainbow on that thing. That would be the noise, wouldn't it? It looks so good. It is so good. So that's today's newsletter. I will be, oh God, I'm so tired. It's been a weekend. I'm going to give you some more options for double time. So to sort of get those creative juices flowing of what you can possibly do. But I really do like that Flight Naturals option, actually. And actually dig a couple of unicorn skeins out of your stash. If you happen to have a stash and you've got a couple of DK sort of hand-dyed Weedy Wonderfuls floating around in there, because I would say you'd probably only need 2, if you've got 2 to 3, or even if you've got a couple that are close enough together and you just alternate them. That's the thing, because of the fineness of the stripes, you could, light bulb moment. You could, if you've got 3 100-gram DK unicorn skeins that are all like totally out there, why don't you just go 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 and just rotate them, and then pull it all together with a base colour. That'd be fab. Ooh, that would work. Flutter is great with red. Yeah, Flutter is good. Well done, Louise. Thank you. So that's, don't be afraid. This is the whole thing with Knit Along. As much as we love you buying our yarn, we want you to keep buying. I want you to knit from stash too. Make it a challenge, actually. See if you can do something from the stash as well this month, because that's, it's always good to get that moved along, isn't it? Like me, knitting up the Christmas present for another gift. I know, cray. We still got some. We will have some new yarn this month. Woohoo! There you go. So I'm always going to tempt you with something. And the new yarn, to be fair, I mean, it's sort of in solid shades, but the new yarn in a double time will be amazing. Absolutely amazing. So there's still plenty to come here in May with our Knithathon. In fact, if we're really lucky, we may even get 2 new things happen this month. Fingers crossed. And the only reason why I say fingers crossed that the 2 things is, of course, I'm going to Woolfest at the end of the month. I got my stuff through late. Typical me. So I wasn't on the original list, but yes, I am going to be in QMU. So I will see you there if you are managing to make it. Right, I need to go. It's been 30 minutes. Too much time. Better go into newsletter. I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.